Rev up your engines, everybody, because we're starting off with a return to that glorious segment, Fearless and/or Brave.
Oh my god, he has a f***ing jingle for it and everything.
Yeah, I don't actually know if that's gonna pick up properly, but thanks also, now I have to bleep that.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, so...
I have no regrets.
Great. That makes one of us.
Yeah.
So we're following back up with, is the phrase fearless and/or brave... Well, okay, phrase... Fearless, fair, brave, and true. From Snow White, the live-action Snow White. God, you take a few weeks off and you try to recontextualize a meme, and now it's dumb. Anyways, Greg consulted with his former English teacher mom about whether or not that was a redundant phrase. So let's hear secondhand expert testimony.
So it's funny, I think we almost had a tiny argument over it.
Really?
Yeah, because she's like, well, you can do something brave while still being full of fear. So it kind of works together. I'm just like, yeah, but if you're fearless, and I feel like then by default that you're gonna be brave, or at least it's gonna be easier for you to be brave.
Fair.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? She's the expert, and
We're not.
yeah, what?
We're just a couple of chuckles who talk about art.
Yeah, what kind of podcaster would I be if I disregarded expert testimony? I'd be an average podcaster.
Yeah.
Anyways!
We could have so much money if we didn't have ethics.
I don't even know how much ethics I've got. I've just got enough ethics to know that if somebody calls something woke in a derogatory manner, they're probably a moron.
Yes.
Anyways, welcome to Under the Bridge, everybody.
Welcome to Under the Bridge.
I'm Cody, aka the Scarlet Troll, pronouns he, him.
And I am Greg, aka Greg, also pronouns he, him.
And this is our podcast where we talk news of the pop culture variety. Sometimes comic news, sometimes gaming news, pretty much always movie news, and also pretty much always a movie review. So make sure to ring the like button, smash that bell, and share the video around if you're into that sort of thing, because it really helps us out, and we appreciate it.
Indubitably.
Yeah. So my first bit of news is not actually official news, but I was low on news, and that makes me desperate.
Okay, I was gonna say, it's like, well, we're off to a great start.
Yeah, according to The Wrap, which isn't one of the sources that I would usually substantiate as, yeah, this is definitely worth including, but...
So what you're saying is that on the topic of getting it right, that's a wrap.
First of all, I need you to talk a little bit louder. Second of all, how dare you? Alright? Great. No notes. Good.
Perfect.
No, but according to The Wrap, Paramount Pictures is interested in making Sonic spin-off titles, as well as Sonic the Hedgehog 4. Which, yeah, do it.
To be honest, I don't feel a need for the spin-off anything. The main movies on their own do so well, and I think they stand up fine on their own.
Let me tell you something, alright? Shadow usually does his thing independent of Sonic and Friends. Yeah. Shadow's got his own supporting cast. He's got Rouge and Omega. He doesn't really need to pal around. He doesn't...
Who's Rouge and Omega?
Okay, Rouge the Bat is world-class treasure hunter and big titty Batgirl.
You can't see the cringe on my face on this radio format show.
No, yeah, just keep that energy up. That's exactly what I'm looking for. That's exactly what we need. Do I need to bleep that? That is pretty explicit. Do I care? How bad do I care? Not that bad, I think. And Omega is E123 Omega, one of Eggman's robots, who went rogue because Eggman functionally abandoned him and left him to guard an amnesiac Shadow. So Omega's just decided, you know what? Screw you! I'm gonna destroy everything you've built, prove myself the greatest of your creations, and then I'm going to murder you!
Sounds like he has confidence issues.
Yeah, a little bit. Teensy bit. He's cool. He likes burning things down.
That's the opposite of cool, though. That's pretty hot.
Alright, if you're into that, I guess. Weirdo. Anyways, no, I kind of figured from the start of Sonic 3, not from the start, but, you know, before the movie happened, I figured this isn't gonna end with Shadow being part of the Wachowski family. He's not gonna join in for watching Keanu Reeves movies. I mean, first of all, that'd be kind of weird. You'd think he'd go, I don't sound like him. He sounds like me.
I mean, that would be pretty meta, if anything.
Why does he sound like me?
I could see it. I could 100% see it, too.
I'm just imagining how great it would have been to hear Shadow going up against Gunn, going, and your government took that from me, stole that from me, killed that from me!
I could see him doing that as a rant about Maria.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's what makes it really funny. I think Shadow lends himself pretty well to spin up. I don't know about Tails, for example. I think Knuckles could have gotten one, and, I mean, his show already wasn't super about him anyway.
I was to say, are we just ignoring the show at this point?
Well, I mean, the show was more like Knuckles and Wade, partners in dumb.
Alright.
But
I still haven't seen the show, by the way.
I hate Wade, alright? I'm not afraid to say it.
Well, I did my best.
That's the one good thing okay, you know what, he's had 2 good bits. One of which is that, and the other is, for the last time, what do you want on your bagel? That was good.
Relatable content?
Yeah. No, I'd be down for, like, you could make a Knuckles Chaotix movie.
Okay.
Bring the Chaotix in. Do it, you cowards. They're a weird detective agency.
Okay.
Yeah. One of them's a ninja chameleon.
I mean, that does fit. Actually, now that I think about it, that does kind of track.
Also, they're a band.
That's the opposite of secret detective agency, though.
They're not a secret detective agency.
Alright.
Anyways.
Well, that's the opposite of being a fucking ninja. Or a chameleon.
I guess you're right. Doesn't matter.
It's for the kids.
For the children. God damn it, WandaVision went deep. That is in there. I'm glad she's dead. She's not.
She's not dead.
She's not dead.
When do you think she'll come back, though?
Doomsday.
Yeah.
It's either Doomsday or it's Secret War. She's back for one or the other.
Probably Secret War, because she wasn't on the cast list for Doomsday.
Yeah, but apparently a lot of people weren't. Allegedly.
Okay.
Yeah. Can't wait for that. We'll get to it. Eventually. Next year. God.
Eventually, but first.
No, I'll watch spin-offs if they choose to make them. Because, I mean, eventually you're gonna get to a point where if you make, like, 6 Sonics... 6
Sonics built next to one another. Get all the fast food
on
and
a
junk
trench
food.
coat.
Yes. Get all of the junk food you need in one place.
You know what? Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles trying to get into an adult movie by wearing a trench coat and sitting on each other's shoulders is pretty funny.
That's fair.
I mean, you'd think Sonic would just run in.
Has Sonic the Drive-In ever had a promotion with Sonic the Hedgehog?
Not as far as I know.
That is insane.
Look, I hate product placement for the most part.
But it's right fucking there.
I know it's just a necessary evil, but the fact that the Sonic movies have not done Sonic crossover, not done Sonic cross promotion, but they did cross promotion with fucking Olive Garden.
And reference Pokemon.
Yeah. Pika. Oh god, cursed. Cursed, I tell you! Dang it! Where's it going with this? Right, eventually, the Sonic cast is gonna get so big in the movies that the only way... You're not gonna fit them all into sequels, so all you can really do is start spinning them off and seeing what sticks.
Have I told you about the Sonic Initiative? The Son Initiative.
We're gonna move on now. You've ruined it. You've ruined it, and I'm leaving. But I'm not actually going anywhere, because we're not far enough in for that.
Nope.
No. Star Wars Celebration happened. I think it was Star Wars Celebration, at least.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And we got a few announcements, but there's really only one that I feel like talking about. Which is that Sean Levy's Ryan Gosling starring Star Wars film...
Really?
Yep. Has officially been titled Star Wars Starfighter.
We're taking bets on if this one's gonna get shit canned or not?
Well, allegedly, its release date is May 28th, 2027. Yeah, right! I've heard that one before.
Yeah.
Hey guys, we got a new Star Wars movie coming out! Yeah.
Yeah, sure
6 years ago.
Sure you do. Wasn't there supposed to be a Boba Fett movie? Or something like that?
I think he just got a show.
Yeah, but wasn't there... No, there's supposed to be a Mandalorian and Grogu movie,
That's coming out next year.
Oh, and that's actually coming out.
I'm pretty sure. I think they showed footage at Star Wars Celebration. It didn't publicly release, so I didn't put it on the list.
Oh, okay.
But I don't believe this one.
I don't believe this one either.
I've been burned too many times.
I was really looking forward to Rogue Squadron, actually.
I was looking forward to seeing what Rian Johnson could do with the whole trilogy instead of just inheriting the shit in a J.J. Abrams sandwich.
Yeah.
And even then, his isn't the worst one. The worst one is Rise of Skywalker.
Man, I've never
60-0. Just like that.
I've never had it where a movie disappoints me so quickly that I end up enjoying it because of that. I've never had a movie just instantly kill my expectations. So what are we gonna do? Are they gonna talk about how he's back? Palpatine has returned! Oh, fuck me. Alright, I don't give a shit what happens, I can enjoy this movie.
I know we've told these stories before, but I'm going to do it again anyway. It was really unfortunate for me, because our friend who is a big Star Wars fan and has been massively disappointed with most of what they've been doing, he was in the bathroom at that point. So I see that text crawl pop up of the dead speak, Palpatine is back, and I just go, Oh, how am I gonna tell him? How am I gonna tell him? I have to tell him that they did it in the text crawl. Are you fucking kidding me?
And then it's the whole thing of Poe going, I don't know how it happened, but Palpatine has returned.
I'm not gonna make the joke. So I guess we'll see. I mean, that's 2 years out. That's enough time for... It's close enough.
It's enough time for it to get shit canned.
Yeah. Yeah, God, I still want Rogue Squadron.
I do too, honestly.
Uh,
Like, I'm a sucker for fighter jet movies, don't get me wrong, so by proxy I'm still interested in this, but I feel like Rebellion era movie about the fighter squadrons would be a lot more up my personal alley.
Danger Zone.
For real.
Huh. But hey, I'm a Ryan Gosling fan.
Yeah, that's why I was like, really? They got Ryan Gosling for, okay.
And
right.
Sean Levy did a good job with Deadpool Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
And Free Guy.
Oh, he did Free Guy? Oh,
yeah.
That explains a lot.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to have the same level of crude humor?
Probably not the same level or kind, and I don't think Captain America's shield is showing up in this one. What the shit? I think he was the same guy.
That would be funny if it is.
Oh, he also did the Atom Project. Oh, that's funny.
I never saw that one.
Huh. You didn't miss much.
Okay.
Oh, the Pink Panther, huh?
Really?
Alright. Cheaper by the dozen.
Okay, so he's been at this for a liar.
Big fat liar.
For a while. Wow, I can't believe I just said that.
Oh my god. He's the guy, huh?
He is the guy.
Wow.
He's like, I'm going from making crappy rom-coms to fantastical fiction movies.
Alright, good for him, I guess.
Yeah, good for him indeed.
Alright, for our last bit of news that we just got today, the day of recording, we got an update to the cast for the Ready or Not sequel.
Yay!
It's added Sarah Michelle Gellar and Elijah Wood.
Which are Poles.
Holy crap. Also, David Cronenberg?
What do I know David from? I know his name.
You know his name because David Cronenberg is the guy who directed all those fucked up body horror movies.
What, like the Human Centipede?
No, not those. The fucking good ones. He did The Fly.
Okay.
I think his son did Possessor Uncut.
Hmm.
He did Shivers, which I know you haven't seen. I've seen. Pretty fucked up. And by pretty fucked up, I mean good God. Also Videodrome and Scanners. And Scanners is the one with the gif of the guy's head exploding. It's where that came from.
Okay, hold on. I have to...
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
I think I know which one it is. I just want to make sure. Oh, that one.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, okay, cool.
No, not the Tim and Eric one.
Okay.
I think it was Tim and Eric.
Okay.
I don't know which one that one was. Not important.
Yeah.
No, I liked Ready or Not a lot. So this cast announcement excites me. I wonder what the fuck they're doing here.
Wonder who the heroine is going to be.
Well, Samara Weaving's back.
Okay.
So probably her.
Okay.
I'd imagine.
Hmm.
But I wonder how she is it Mr. LaBelle again?
I mean, I do want to know the person, because she got away because Mr. LaBelle was the ghost, right?
Yeah, he was the demon.
Alright, see, he already gave me a pass. How did I get... Hopefully she doesn't find another boyfriend that's also equally a piece of shit.
Oh, that'd be terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm her in that situation, I'm probably swearing off dating forever. I don't need it.
Yeah.
I don't have to deal with this.
You're right.
Terrible. Awful. Huh. This is a really quick news section.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Let's go to trailer time!
Let's do trailer time.
It's trailer time again! We've got movie previews to watch! It's trailer time again! Alright, we got a couple of horror movies. I probably should have left more of a thing for the jingle can fit anywhere.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it doesn't matter! Hell yeah! But we got a trailer for 28 Years Later.
I've not seen any of the other 28-something movies.
Me neither. But this looks interesting.
It does look interesting.
I like the idea of... Well, I mean, it's not exactly original, but I do like the idea of... yeah, the world got ravaged by a zombie invasion ages ago, and now we're just looking at the remnants.
Right.
And how they're coping with it. And apparently how you cope with it is you live on a goddamn island, which makes sense.
With guns and bows and arrows.
But you feel like then zombies are going to come shambling out the shore, you know?
I remember seeing one clip of someone getting away via boat in one of the movies. I don't remember if it's established if the zombies can swim or not.
I don't think it matters if they can swim, because they're already dead. Like, what's gonna happen when they're underwater? Are they gonna drown?
Maybe?
I feel like a zombie at the bottom of the sea floor is just gonna shamble its way across the sea floor. So, say you're on the English Channel or something. That zombie is just gonna walk across the English Channel and come up the other side.
True, yeah.
Maybe he'll fall in a trench. Maybe an anchor will hit him. But if not those things, eventually he's gonna catch up.
Right.
So, I don't know. I feel like an island doesn't really help you get... It'd have to be an island with a wall.
No. No. I can see it on your face.
I resisted the urge.
I can see it on your face too. It's like he's about to let another one rip.
Like a goddamn Beyblade! Let it rip! This is what happens when we record in the same place.
Yes.
Maddening. Maddening. 28 years later, that's the one.
28 years later.
Also, it seems like there might be a guy organizing a religion around the zombie outbreak.
I suppose,
Just from that last bit at the end.
Mm-hmm.
He has all the trappings of a religious cult leader.
Yeah.
And then a zombie swarm happens, so either he thinks he's responsible for it, or I don't know.
Yeah, either way, oh boy, theology.
Yeah! This looks cool, though.
It does.
I might have to try and check out the other two before this. When does this come out? Let's find out.
Hey, that rhymed.
God damn it, you're right. June. Okay, couple months. That's time. I got time.
Make that probably one potential Cinema Synergy nomination right there.
Oh, yeah, I guess we could, potentially. We'll see.
Yeah.
This month is gonna be fun. Well, May.
Yeah,
May is gonna be fun.
Right.
Not that April wasn't, but, this is gonna be fun. So we also got a trailer for the Justin Tipping directed, Jordan Peele produced sports horror movie, Him.
What a freaking crossover.
What a descriptor.
Yeah.
Right?
There's a whole bit in the trailer where who I assume is our main character gets hit in the head, and we see an x-ray of just his head and body getting fucked up. And I'm just like, oh, is this a CTE movie? It's like, produced by Jordan Peele. It's like, say no more.
Right.
That explains everything, honestly. Like, I know he's not the director for it, but that explains like 85% of what's happening here.
Yeah, it does. I mean, sports horror is not something I ever thought I'd hear / be interested in if I did hear it, because what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Is a movie about a slasher running around in a mascot costume sports horror?
I feel like, well, I'm not hating on this or anything like that. I feel like if you were to do a sports horror movie, motorsport, and I know I'm biased in saying this, but I feel like motorsport could be a pretty good contender. The whole thing about racing is that you're racing at very high speeds in a car, and on more than one occasion, someone has lost control of the car and died. So I feel like there's just in the inherent danger, or whatever else is going on, there's some potential there. What?
I just imagined.
Yeah.
Picture, if you will, to set the scene in the trailer.
Okay.
You've got a couple of teenagers running across a golf course at night. Clearly panicked, clearly fleeing from something, and then one of them just drops. And as the one who still lives starts screaming, the camera cuts to, like, directly in front of this person, where we see a small golf ball-sized hole going all the way to their head. Pan back, all the way across the golf course, and you just see a fucking Jason Voorhees-looking head-ass in golf attire with a little hat with a pom-pom on it and shit, just fucking queuing up to swing again.
Played by Tiger Woods.
Oh. I dig it, actually. You know what? If that doesn't exist, I'm not gonna make it because I don't have the talent for that, but somebody should. I'll watch it.
Yeah.
You'd
be the one person to make golf not boring as hell.
Do a Kickstarter, in fact.
Yeah.
I once had an idea for full contact golf. It never really panned out, though.
How was that supposed to work?
It was basically like you'd set up little holes at either end of the course and basically turn it into land hockey. Except you can also hit each other with the clubs.
Oh my goodness. That's just that's just hockey. That's straight just hockey at that point.
Oh, I think I might have just invented street hockey.
Including the fighting.
And by invented, I mean shamelessly ripped off. Hold on, let me feed this into ChatGPT.
Oh,
no, God. I'm kidding. I won't do that. I have standards.
Yes, we do.
It's why you don't get Harry Potter news anymore. So anyways, rounding this out, we also got a trailer from the Fantastic Four First Steps.
Pedro Pascal is a lucky man.
I mean, Vanessa Kirby's not really my type, but I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I still have my doubts specifically about him, and it's mostly just, I don't know, I feel like he's too old for Reed.
So, is there, I mean, that was my thing too, because I see Pedro Pascal, and I'm
like, oh God.
What?
Technically, that's actually kind of...
Is that accurate to the comics?
Depending on the source...
Depending on the continuity?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Sometimes there's a pretty big age gap between Reed and Sue, which isn't inherently problematic unless you do a thing like Fantastic Four 1994 did, where Reed was like college age and Sue was like middle school age, and she had a huge crush on him.
Was that the live action show?
No, not the live action show. That was the movie, the one that never got officially released, but I may or may not have a bootleg copy of. I don't.
But if you ever did, we should absolutely crack that open.
Yeah, we have watched it. If I had it.
If I had it.
We would have already watched it.
Sorry, lost the bootleg copy, but the bootleg is back.
The bootleg's back.
Oh my goodness. So, in the comics, is there ever a story of Reed and Sue having a baby and that just kind of making things go nuts?
Oh yeah, they have a couple of kids at this point.
Oh really?
Yeah, they got Franklin Richards, who's basically God, except when he's not. He was a mutant for a bit, and he might still be. So, he was a mutant for most of his life, as far as we know. And then during the Krakoa era, Dan Slott apparently didn't want the Fantastic Four to have to play on the X-Men boat, so he did a whole thing where it's like, oh, Franklin, you're not actually a mutant. You used your reality warping powers to give yourself an X gene because you wanted to be special, and now that your powers are gone, your X gene is gone, so fuck off, kid.
I really hate that reminds me of an anime that's currently airing.
What the fuck are you talking about?
From the creator of... not Dress Up Jolly. From the creator of Rent-a-Girlfriend.
Oh, fuck. Don't say anything else. I don't need to hear this. Go on.
Okay. There's a show going out right now. I don't remember what it's called, but the basic premise is that it follows this guy and all of his siblings, and most of which are girls. And it turns out his father just announces at a family dinner, is like, by the way, with the exception of your actual twin sister, none of y'all are related. You've all spent this time being siblings, but turns out none of y'all are blood related. Which of course means that
fuck, I can already see where this is going.
Which of course means, again, from the creator of Rent-a-Girlfriend,
degeneracy ensues.
Yeah, it means it's like, we spent like all of our lives seeing each other as just like brother and sister, but now we want to jump on you. I don't know why that reminded me of that, but it just kind of did. Degeneracy is on the menu this season.
Anyways, their other kid is Valeria Richards. I think she's smarter than Reed?
Oh god. Oh, that's terrifying.
Or she's potentially smarter than Reed. I don't remember. She's actually Doom's goddaughter.
She's Doom's god... Oh, it's probably going to be Valeria that's the kid in this movie.
No, it's probably Franklin. Franklin's the first one.
That hasn't stopped them before?
Yeah, but I think it's going to be Franklin because Franklin also has connections to Galactus.
I feel like Valeria is an option just so that there is more of a connection between the Fantastic Four and Doomsday.
They probably won't do that. They'll save that for actual Doom if they ever do him.
If I end up being right, what is that going to do?
I will give you $20.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yep. I will hand Greg $20 if Valeria is the kid in this and not Franklin. Anyways, no, Valeria is great because her whole shtick... I love how we're not really talking about the movie, I'm just going into... she's kind of psychotic.
Oh boy.
Yeah, partly because she spends too much time around Doom, but it's also...
Yeah, that'll fucking do it.
And the reason Doom is her godfather and Uncle Doom is because Sue was suffering from some kind of complications. I think they were cosmic radiation related that threatened her and the baby, and Reed wasn't available to help because he was busy doing something else. I think it was like a world-saving crisis thing.
Okay, fair.
And then Doom steps in, helps them out, and is just like, I'm naming the kid. Also, she's under my protection now.
Okay. 6 of one, half dozen of the other type of situation.
Yeah, no, she's also great because there's stuff like in a Loki Agent of Asgard issue, there's a bit where Doom is like, mind this, I have to go check on something. Can we have ice cream later? Doom will consider your request.
Oh, I think I remember you telling me about that.
That means yes. I hope we have strawberry. It's great. No, her and Doom have a surprisingly wholesome report for what a terrible man he is.
Nice. Very good.
No, but this is like a good trailer. I cannot stress enough how happy I am that Galactus is not a fucking cloud.
Herbie.
What do you got against Herbie?
The sleep paralysis robot that is Herbie.
At least he's not dressing up like Doom to fuck with Scott Lang.
That's why I find that funny. That whole bit still lives rent-free in my head, by the way.
Good.
Because I was just like, how fucking twisted are these editors? Learns about Paul. Okay, then.
Yep. We brought it back. What a piece of shit. And also, Paul sucks.
Also, Paul.
Oh, you thought I was talking about him? Nah, he's a victim of circumstance. I'm talking about Marvel editorial. Fuck you, Spider Office.
Right.
Where's it going? Fantastic Four. No, this looks proper interesting. We finally get to see Reed stretch.
Yes.
We see Reed stretchy powers. He has stretchy powers. All right.
Yes.
That's good. I like that. Johnny is a proper asshole.
Yes.
You're gonna be the greatest dad in the world. I'm kidding. You're out of your depth.
We're gonna be the greatest uncles in the world.
He's probably not wrong.
Yeah.
Ben Grimm is notoriously very good with kids.
You know, I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or
No,
not.
he is.
Okay, cool.
I mean, he's kind of a gruff jerkbag, but yeah.
Fair.
But you know, kids love him. He's funny.
Good.
He tells it like it is.
Good.
But also, I was gonna say a thing about Santa Claus, and then I'm like, you know what? No kids are listening to this, hopefully. Ben Grimm is the kind who will be like, nah, Santa's totally real. even when they're like 16.
Right.
The Thing is my favorite of the Fantastic Four. Full stop. Not even close. Let's go to box office.
Let's do the box office.
We did see the highest grossing movie domestically this weekend, because
Good.
it's Sinners.
Good.
Hell yeah! $48 million domestic... Yes. I thought I left the million out.
Oh, okay. It's
I
like
thought I said
$48 domestic off. No one went to see a movie this week. 4 people, including us two Shopaholics, went to go see a movie this weekend.
We were 2 of the 4 people.
We are half of this nation's movie output this weekend.
Oh, man. No, $48 million domestic weekend and total, $63.5 million worldwide. That is against a budget somewhere between 90 to 100 mil. But it's opening weekend, word of mouth is positive. Apparently, allegedly, I don't believe this, but if this is true and it's actually being reported by, I want to say Variety or Deadline or one of those, this is the first horror movie to get an A cinema score.
Really?
What the fuck is wrong with you people?
That's kind of nuts considering how many horror movies in general there have been. And how many good ones.
Yeah, I think only like 6 have gotten an A-. In the entire time that this thing has been running.
That doesn't sound correct.
That's insanity.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on here? I don't...
The cinema score people were like, you know what? It was like, it's kind of cool. It was like, he kills a bunch of fucking Klan members.
We'll get to that. I'm actually kind of glad you kept that quiet. That's pretty funny.
So it's like, Soprano Florida gets a good rating.
Yeah. No, that certainly put it up there in my book.
Yes.
No, I'm hoping this turns around. I'm hoping this makes its budget back and then some. I think this is going to become a real classic going forward.
Yeah.
And it's also interesting. I also want to see it succeed because Ryan Coogler managed to...
Make a bunch of good deals off it, right?
He managed to negotiate himself a pretty sweet spot because he got final cut privilege. So apparently this is exactly the movie he wanted.
Good.
At least out of what was shot.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows where it went on the, actual filming process, but this is apparently his cut.
Okay.
He also got a % of the first dollar gross, so he starts making money off of what the movie makes, not off of whatever's left after the studio gets their investment back. So that's pretty baller. And after 25 years, the copyright will revert from Warner Brothers back to him.
Nice.
Yeah, apparently studio execs are really panicking about that one, not at Warner Brothers, but elsewhere, because they're like, but if you do this for him, other people are going to want that, and then how are we supposed to build a film library for our streaming services?
How dare the artist who created this have actual, control over their artwork?
Yeah, I know, right? What a fucking asshole. I'm being sarcastic. I cannot stress enough. That's why I couldn't finish that line, because I need to make it clear, in case anybody ever wanted to take it out of context, that is sarcasm.
Yes.
Ryan Coogler is awesome for negotiating this deal. I hope he gets more deals like it, because...
This was a damn good movie.
This is currently the best thing I've seen all year.
Yes.
And no offense to every other thing I've liked that I've seen this year, but it's not particularly fucking close.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Companion. I'm sorry, Mickey 17. I'm sorry, The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie. And I'm kinda sorry, The Monkey.
And Captain America. Not sorry, Captain America?
Not sorry, Captain America. Okay. I liked Captain America. I love Captain America.
Right.
But, it's not a particularly... We're not here to get into this. But no, This is what Martin Scorsese would call cinema. Maybe he wouldn't, but it's not about what he'd actually call cinema.
Because that's already a pretentious line to begin with.
Yeah, it's about what I think he'd call cinema. And you know what? This does it.
Yes.
This is such a good movie. I didn't make a single joke internally or externally about Michael B. Jordan playing two characters.
Okay, I was gonna say, it's like, no, I'm pretty sure we cracked at least a couple jokes. Maybe? Well, not about that. Not about that, just about things in general.
No, we had a couple of jokes.
Yeah.
Most of which was just reiterating something funny the movie said.
Yeah.
So Sinners, it's a horror movie. It's a period horror movie set in the 1930s.
Yes, in the South.
In the South. Starring Michael B. Jordan. And Michael B. Jordan.
As Michael B. Jordan.
Not as Michael B. Jordan. It's two of them.
Yes.
Yeah. No, he's playing two brothers. Elijah and Elias, a.k.a. Smoke and Stack. I don't remember which one is which.
I'll be honest, it took me way too long to kind of piece that together.
That their names are Smokestack?
Yeah, just like, why are they... And then when I realized, I was like, God damn it.
Yep.
It's kind of like how Babe 2, where one of the monkeys is named Thelonious. It's like,
Thelonious Monkey.
Yeah, it's like, Thelonious Monkey, you motherfuckers!
Well, now hold on.
I got so mad at that.
You shouldn't have, because he's an orangutan.
Oh my
which
God.
Isn't a monkey. So, I don't know, that's on you, bigot.
I'm gonna open this loud-ass water bottle. Jesus Christ.
No, this also stars Haley Steinfeld, Miles Caton, Jack O'Connell, and Wunmi Mosaku. Also, Delroy Lindo.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good movie.
This is a very good movie.
So, the premise, such as it is, unless you want to take it.
No, I'll let you do this one, because I think I fumbled it last time.
I mean, this part's not necessarily the easiest one.
No.
But Smoke and Stack are twin brothers. They've come back from Chicago, where they were up to probably some shady shit.
Yep.
And they're planning on opening up a juke joint, which, as I understand it, is it's kind of a club.
It's basically a concert hall.
Yeah. Concert hall / club. There's gonna be alcohol. It's gonna be fancy.
Yeah.
Not super fancy, but, it's gonna be a good time.
Yes.
They're gonna open that up. They buy this place. They're planning on making it a big deal, making a killing off of it, and then things start to go horribly wrong. But it takes a while to get there.
It does take a minute to get there.
They spend a refreshing amount of time building up these characters.
Yes.
Which is honestly kind of funny, because I was like, oh wow, this is... It does, I'll admit, it starts with one of those aftermath bits where you see a character...
Who's gone through the ringer.
Who's gone through the ringer, and then it flashes back, and then then it just goes back to the beginning and tells it from there. I don't feel like we needed that.
I mean, it kind of helps, but I don't think it was necessary.
Yeah.
It helps. I think I will say it does kind of help with how that character goes towards the end, after all the craziness of the movie.
No, that's fair. That's fair. So, Smoke and Stack are setting up for this event. They grab their cousin Sammy, who's played by Miles Caton, because they want him to play music, because he's a big fan of the blues. They got him a guitar, which they said was from, what was his name?
I guess, is it listed in there?
No.
Okay.
Charlie Parnell? Is that it?
I think so. Or
no, that's not it.
Parnell, you said?
This is getting me nowhere.
Okay. Anyways.
So I don't remember who... Wait, I don't want to find out!
Are we going to TV tropes?
Yes! I know it's here. Charlie Patton!
Charlie Patton.
That's it! Thank you, TV tropes.
What trope is that attached to?
Viewers are geniuses. Ironically enough.
Yeah, I was gonna say. TV tropes is a terrible, terrible place. And by terrible, I mean excellent.
What a wonderful hell. No, so a lot of this goes into the setup and establishing these characters. Smoke in particular is one of those. He is presenting himself as a hard ass, a no nonsense, all business kind of guy.
Yeah.
But you can see
that he cares.
You can see elements of a decent guy underneath it, where a lot of it's a front.
Mm-hmm.
And Stack's a little much.
Yeah, Stack is a lot. He's got stacks of personality.
He does! That he does. And then we got Haley Steinfeld as Mary, who has a history with Stack.
Yes.
That's a word for it.
Yeah, that's a very toned down word for it.
Delroy Lindo is Delta Slim, who is another musician who they end up recruiting to join them at this place.
Yeah.
With Irish beer.
With very Irish beer.
Irish beer and $40 a night. Hell yeah.
That's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
For that time period.
Yeah, only for that time period.
Yeah.
Somebody paid me $40 a night, I'd slap them upside the head.
Yeah. Like, ooh boy, gas money.
God, I'm having a hard time figuring out what constitutes a spoiler in this.
Yeah, because it's a thing of, I imagine what you're trying to get to is where things go wrong.
Right, and I thought it was obvious, because I felt like the trailers gave away what it was going to be.
I don't,
and
honestly.
Yet, the fact that you don't makes me think it's a spoiler, and therefore we need to dance around it.
Yeah.
Oh, I just realized.
Mm.
Dance around it.
Damn. Actually, that's kind of a talking point for this. This movie really emphasizes music.
It does.
In a really good way. There is one particular bit that is a spoiler, but if you are big into like music, and especially the cultural impact of music and how much it coalesces through time, space, history, and humanity, you will really like this movie.
Yeah.
Because the movie is very much a love letter to how powerful music can be.
And it helps that it has a kick-ass soundtrack.
It has a very good soundtrack.
Not just blues.
And very off-kilter.
Yeah, not just blues. There's quite a bit of Irish folk in there, too.
Yes.
We'll get into why.
But
it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
And just... it's well acted. The characters are great. It's very well paced.
Yes.
It's less scary, I guess, than I was expecting.
I want to make a joke about that, but the joke is spoilers.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
And I mean, kick-ass soundtrack, I don't know what else you need.
Yeah.
Honestly, I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
It's so fucking hard to figure out, like... It's layered in such a way that so many things that happen in the movie feel like they're spoilers either because they lead into something bigger or because they're important characterization moments, and it feels like... God... Usually, I'll say comedies are the hardest ones to review in a non-spoiler context because most of what goes on are the jokes, and you don't want to spoil the jokes. But in this case, just I hope this comes across as effusive praise in the sense of I'm having a hard time talking about this movie in non-spoiler section because I feel like so many moments in this movie need to be fucking seen.
They need to be experienced. This is a movie to be experienced from start to finish.
And God, honestly, I have most of next week off. I might go see it again.
Fair.
Hell yeah. I think I might have to. It's just... I like it!
Yeah.
It's really good!
Another. As great as this movie is, we don't need a sequel.
We don't need a sequel. I'd take something adjacent.
Yeah.
We don't need a direct sequel.
Maybe something adjacent that still has Michael B. Jordan. Maybe.
That's a spoiler if I say anything else.
I think I know where you're going with that, too.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. What do you think? Did we go into spoiler section already?
Haley Steinfeld is really hot.
Well, yeah, obviously. It's Haley Steinfeld.
Yeah, might as well.
So if you don't want to get spoiled on Sinners, make sure to click away in 3, 2, 1. Hold on, I'm looking something up real quick.
Okay.
Go ahead.
This is a very horny movie.
I mean, it wouldn't be a vampire movie if it wasn't at least a little horny.
Yeah, so it turns out later on that the thing that's causing everything to go bad is vampires. And the entirety of this movie from start to finish, honestly, is extremely horny. And when they say, oh, it's vampires, like, alright, everything makes sense.
There we go.
Yeah. So, yeah, it turns out it's vampires.
It is sexy, but it's sexier than Nosferatu.
Yes.
But
which is not a high bar.
No, it's not a high bar.
But it is actually kind of hot.
A little bit. A lot of that's because Haley Steinfeld's in it.
Yes. There is... It's interesting...
And Michael B. Jordan.
It's interesting because... Oh boy. To get a little, I guess, overcritical movie trying to defeat gender norms a little bit, like thought process.
Okay.
It's fun in that way because this movie... I think the thing that I walked away from a lot in this movie in regards to the general horniness of it that I genuinely find interesting, because to be honest, it's not really something you see in a lot of films, is that they do a good job of making it clear that it's like, no, the level of this is not for the guys, or not completely for the guys. Everyone is on the same equal playing field.
Yeah.
Which... you know, the whole something something male fantasy, because that's usually what sells in these kind of movies. So that was actually pretty neat and, genuinely speaking, really refreshing, especially when we get Haley Steinfeld confronting Stack after not seeing him in several years.
Yeah, because apparently...
And it's just, like, in the most justifiably vulgar way possible.
Calling him out on his bullshit.
Yeah.
And then it's even better, because his cousin Sammy is warning him, oh shit, that white woman's looking at you. She's walking over here. Oh shit.
Yeah.
And then, after she chews him out, she's walking away, and Sammy just goes, maybe she ain't white.
Well, apparently, Haley Steinfeld is actually mixed.
Yeah, I was looking that up.
Yeah, like, I think it was either her grandmother or great-grandmother is black, and the other side of her family is Filipino. So, from what I understand, that kind of...
specifically that side, according to Wikipedia, at least.
Yeah, so I guess I wouldn't be surprised if that mixed heritage also played into her character as well.
Well, yeah, obviously, because, I mean, part of Mary's whole thing is that, I think it was her grandfather was black.
Yeah.
And
she was also pretty much raised with these characters.
Right. But it being 1932, it's one of those things where, because she can pass for white, it's generally decided that that's the best thing to do, because otherwise, she's going to be subject to the same systemic racism as the rest of them.
Yeah.
Or, in even worse case, because she and Stack obviously have a thing for each other, but it's very much a thing of, Stack is approaching it from the perspective of, this will drag you down, or
it'll
get both of us killed.
Yeah, and for him, it seems like the drag down is the thing he cares most about, because it's like, he basically looks at her and goes, no, you pass as white, I'm a black man in the 1930s, staying with me will actually ruin your life.
Yeah. Which he doesn't care about, but, you know, that's the tragedy of the situation.
Yeah.
God, Miles Caton is a really good singer, because apparently he's doing all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
No, that was something I was very surprised about. And actually with that, holy shit, we must talk about the main music scene in the middle of the movie.
Right, when he's playing at the juke joint.
Yeah, so one of the whole things with this movie, and the reason why there's vampires, is that it's said that every now and again someone will come up who has such a crazy-ass natural affinity for music that it's literally supernatural, and attracts all kinds of spirits, all kinds of souls, all kinds of beings from past, present, and future. And we get this whole thing where, I just blanked on the dude's name.
Sammy.
Where Sammy is at the juke joint just playing his heart out, and it becomes this extremely creative, loud, musical, live-action compilation of musicians and dancers and stuff, not just from the period, but from the past, from the future, from different cultures. We get belly dancers, we get Indian folk singers, we get hip-hop DJs, we get rock stars, and it doesn't feel forced.
No, it feels like a genuinely beautiful mishmash of just almost anything you could think of.
Yeah.
And it just speaks to the shared universality of
music.
Vibing with music.
Yeah. And it's amazing. It's one of those things where initially when it started, a little bit of my brain was like, all right, this is getting so, and then they just go ham with it. It's like, no, this is amazing.
Oh yeah, let him cook.
Yeah, let him cook for a second.
Hold up. He's on to something. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's peak.
Yes, this is peak. That's honestly probably one of my favorite scenes in any movie I've seen in the last, several years. But I also say that being someone who really likes music, especially hip-hop music.
That's fair. I'm trying to... that's hard for me because, I mean... But it's definitely a damn good one.
Yeah. It's also thematically relevant because it plays into the motivations of our main vampires.
Yeah, because it ends up drawing the... It's also brought up that this also has the ability to draw great evil.
Yeah.
And in this case, it draws Remick, an Irish vampire who...
Which is crazy.
who is interested in building a community, according to him, free of hatred and racial divide, but he's still kind of a misogynist, and also he's a...
Well, that's actually something I found kind of interesting, because, yeah, he's a misogynist, and not more than the misogynist. There's a lot of themes being kind of shown here, shown not told, of cultural appropriation. which is definitely a blink and you miss it type of deal.
Oh no, there's definitely a whole thing because of the fact that vampires in this operate on kind of a shared hive mind.
Yeah.
There's a concept of, because he's assimilating all these things into him, there's a note of him wanting to assimilate this black culture into functionally his being and make it part of himself.
Yeah, and we get that because, kind of jumping around a little bit, there is a moment where it's him and everyone else that he's possessed, a lot of which are black folks, and they're all dancing together to just this one Irish folk song, which right before that, he basically just looks at Sandman and says, I just want your talent. I don't care about your culture or anything else. I just want your music. I'm just like, huh. And it's literally a white dude saying that to a black kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just like, all right, well, that's pretty on the nose. If you have critical thinking skills.
The best thing I could say about Remick is at least he also hates the Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah.
Which is kind of it's kind of actually just like the lowest bar you can clear.
Yeah.
But,
it's like, I'm gonna take your culture, but fuck the Klan.
But fuck the Klan. No, because 2 of his first victims that we see are Klan members.
Yes.
Turns out they're also actually related to the guy who sold Smoke and Stack the property that they're using for their juke joint, and he was planning on coming back with like the entire local chapter of the KKK and shooting up the place in the morning.
Yeah.
Which, fucking assholes.
Yeah.
But
there's a whole thing like kind of in the beginning where Smoke and Stack are buying the property. And they mention the Klan, and the guy just looks at him and goes, the Klan doesn't exist anymore. Now, historically speaking, in a general sense, at that period in American history, that was kind of correct. Or at the very least, the Klan was nowhere near as organized as it got, especially during the Civil Rights era. But when he said that, the thing that popped in my brain was the whole gift thing of Tyler, the Creator, just going, so that was a fucking lie.
Yeah! Yeah. No, can't trust that guy.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
No, I like how that gets resolved. That was fun.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
I'll
get to that.
Hell yeah. I will not step on your toes there.
Yes.
I think it's funny how Haley Steinfeld is one of the vulgarest characters in this movie.
She is, and
you told me you loved me. Yeah, I told you to fuck. And then Michael B. Jordan is going, yeah, I told you to fuck off too. But then she is very descriptive of how their former relationship went.
And it's pretty great. It's pretty funny. Again, that's one of the things that I enjoyed about like the sex part of this movie was that not only is it not completely built to just the general male audience, it's extremely open in the desires of pretty much everybody involved, male or female.
Oh, right, that one note I have.
Mm-hmm.
Chekhov's cunnilingus.
That's
a bit. That's
a
thing.
bit.
I feel like that doesn't even belong in spoiler section. I feel like you need to see this movie and figure out what I mean by that.
Yeah, so we're not going to expand on that at all?
I don't think we need to.
Okay.
I think between what you said and my stupid note, they can either figure it out or go see the movie.
Yes.
We can't give it all away.
We can't give it all away. Oh god, there was something. So again, my whole thing is like checking the movie subreddit after seeing a movie.
Uh-huh.
And there was something that was said, I think in regards to Haley Steinfeld. And I can't fucking remember it, but it did make me laugh.
You rob cars and trains, but you can't steal this pussy for one night? Is that it?
That was one of them. That was an amazing line.
It's mostly the delivery.
Yes. Oh, Christ. No,
he can't help us now.
No. No, she is very, very descriptive. And it's honestly pretty great.
Okay, I also like how this movie handles vampires, because very early on you get they still have to be invited in, which is just...
Yeah, that was the first clue. I'm just like, wait, why are you... Wait a second.
Yeah, but also you didn't figure it out until like 3 invitations in.
Yeah.
At which point I was just thinking, boy, if I had a nickel for every time a vampire movie tripped Greg up on the invitation sitch, I'd have 2 nickels.
I was just like, it's funny because initially when I realized it was vampires, my brain did go, that's a little disappointing. It's one of those things where vampires are neat, but I feel like that's also kind of a go-to. So it's like, it's vampires? I was expecting something more. And then they just go nuts with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like the interpretation of vampires in this. They're still weak to garlic and steaks, and I think maybe silver, although they... No,
it's
definitely silver. Definitely silver. I almost forgot. How could I? And yet...
And I got that one before you did.
You did! You did! I did not think about that one.
Mm-hmm.
But also they seem to operate on kind of a hive mind principle where whoever... No, it can't be whoever sires them because... Some of them turned each other, and yet they're all still connected to Remick. So maybe it's just a thing Remick can do?
That whole thing was the reason why I did make the joke partway through the movie of, so what I'm getting from this is make music with an Irish vampire and get an STD.
Yeah. That does seem to be the lesson they're going for here, potentially. Mm-hmm. I don't know for sure, though.
Yeah. One of the interesting things, actually, with that is it seemed like, I may be getting this wrong, but it seemed like the movie did have a moment of a clue of the hive mind breaking because of the whole bit where they kill Millie, and she's the woman that Smoke is into. Annie. And
Stack gets mad about it?
No, Stack gets mad about it, even though he was the one who bit her. But Haley Steinfeld in particular, when she realizes what's happened, she just starts freaking out. Because from what I remember, Annie basically raised them. Or at least raised them in the sense of they were all around the same age, but she was like the one who was in charge more than anything else, so she did a lot for them. And it seemed like, even though it didn't take away the vampirism for obvious reasons, that shook her to her core, and that kind of got her to break out of it for a second. At least that's kind of how I interpret that a little bit.
No, that's interesting. That might explain some things.
Yeah.
Because, Remick does end up dying, and what a way to go.
Yeah, guitar to the face.
I think first he gets hit with garlic.
Yes.
Then he gets a silver guitar plate to the face. Then he gets staked from behind, and then the sun comes up.
Yes.
God. Took everything in the book to bring this guy down, because they're not weak to... Interestingly enough, even though Annie thinks they will be, they're not actually weak to seemingly holy water or anything relating to the Christian faith. And it's curious, though, because the mojo bag that Smoke has still seems to repel Stack.
Yeah.
So, I think this is another one of those things where it's not the Christian faith specifically that repels vampires. It's genuine faith.
Yeah.
It's whatever system you believe in, but you have to believe in it.
Yeah.
Because there is an undercurrent in this movie of, all the Christian preaching and stuff isn't really an actually held belief amongst this community, so much as it was kind of forced on them by, white people. But
white people.
Because of that, their actual beliefs, I don't wanna take a stab at what system it is, because I'll probably be wrong. But their own endemic belief system, rather than Christianity, seems to work.
Yeah. But
Christianity itself doesn't, and in fact, there's an actually pretty funny and a horrifying sense bit with Remick joining Sammy in a prayer as he's trying to bless the lake to turn it into holy water, and going, "Oh no, I actually love that faith. People who practice it are a bunch of fucking hypocrites, but I love it."
So it's funny, I actually think part of the reason why it's not specifically Christianity is because of the fact that he possesses the Klan members.
Huh.
Because people who are deep in the KKK almost universally are like hardcore Christians.
Yeah.
So...
But no, I think it might just be it's a genuine faith problem and not a specifically Christianity is what kills them, and therefore holy water would only work if you actually believe holy water is a thing.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. He fucking, Jesus, takes a lot to kill Remick.
It takes a lot to kill Remick.
But first he does get that awesome fucking vampire Irish stage show. What the hell? That's crazy to me.
Yeah. But in the end, Smoke and Sammy are the really only survivors of all that. And that leads to a situation where Smoke tells Sammy to get out of there, while Smoke, realizing the wonderful intel that Remick just gave him, whips out a BAR and a Tommy gun.
It's a Tommy gun!
And sets up a wonderful ambush, because sure enough, the Klan members show up at the end of the movie to light the place up and kill everyone, but surprise, bunch of motherfuckers get sniped with the BAR, which is actually, from what I remember, kind of historically accurate. The BAR was used during both World Wars, and I think in World War II, and I think Vietnam in particular, they realize that even during the times when it's not a great machine gun, it is extremely accurate. So it could be used as a marksman, as a shapeshift marksman rifle. So he just snipes a bunch of them from like hidden cover, and then just comes out with the Tommy gun, with the full drum mag, and just lays waste to all of them. Now, this is just me. I'm just a little bit biased for what are hopefully obvious reasons, but I don't know. If you got a movie where a strong, powerful, or really any decent black person is mowing down a bunch of Klan members, by default, it becomes a good movie for me. At that point, the movie has to figure out how many points it loses after that.
That brings it to the top. You can only go down from there.
Yeah, it really is a thing of like, alright, does the movie do anything to lose me after murdering a bunch of racists?
That's not why it's at the top of my list or peak cinema.
But it does help.
But I'd be lying if I said it wasn't a factor.
Yes.
Especially just for how good a job he does at it.
Yeah, and it's the thing of, I feel like that was, part of me looks at that scene and goes, that's also the people making this movie going, it's like, alright, we just had a bunch of really lovable characters fucking dying and all that. We should give the audience something to be happy about. To cheer on.
Yeah. If I could go back to the start of the movie when they're still doing all the setup, God, I love all the little details and nuances they give, particularly Smoke, where he's clearly the more
grounded,
standoffish, less personal of him and his brother.
Yeah. But
then you get things like when he gets that one girl to watch the truck while he goes in to talk to the store owners about getting food and a sign for the establishment.
Yeah.
First he offers her 10 cents a minute or something? 10 cents a minute, to just sit in the truck and honk the horn if anybody comes too close to it.
Yeah.
But then when she's eagerly accepting 10 cents an hour, it's like, oh no. You gotta learn to negotiate. Yeah. You don't take the first offer. And then he gets her to negotiate her way up to 20 cents and is clearly proud of her for doing so.
Yeah.
That's a great detail. When two guys inevitably start poking around the truck, he shoots one, realizes it's somebody he knows, then proceeds to shoot the other one in the leg because he's like, we can't let it get out that somebody tried robbing us and nobody's gonna believe that you tried robbing us and got away scot-free.
Yeah.
But then he arranges for the store owners to take a look at the guys because they've been hobbled with it. Yeah. And basically pays for their medical bill functionally.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay.
With $40 in 1932.
Yeah, no, that was something. That was really good. Mm-hmm. I like the bit where Stack keeps talking up Sammy's talent and telling him that it's the guitar from Charlie Patton, only to find out from Smoke later, no, man, that was our dad's.
Who told you that? Stack did. It's like, that lying motherfucker.
Yeah. Slim is great. Delta Slim is amazing.
Oh, Slim is great in this.
He is one of the real ones.
He goes out in such a good but sad way.
Yeah. Like a hero. Mm-hmm. Oh, he busy, huh?
Yeah. He gets it. He understands.
He knows. Do not interrupt. Except you probably should have.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably saved his life if he did.
Yeah. No, so it's very interesting because for as much as we talk about Smoke and Stack in this, they're not really the main protagonists in that they're not the ones... Mm-hmm. I mean, okay, they both have arcs and they're both main characters, but I feel like start to finish, this is actually Sammy's movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because it's about him knowing what he wants to do, being tested, and ultimately deciding that what he still wants to do is be involved in music despite his father and then his cousins trying to dissuade him from it. Mm-hmm. His dad, because his dad doesn't believe in it, and because his dad's a big deal pastor and wants his son to follow in his footsteps. And his cousins, because...
they've gone somewhere where they believe that black people have more freedom. And
they've been around and they've come to the conclusion that you're not going to be happy doing this. It's going to make you miserable. It's probably going to get you killed.
Yeah.
So, if you need to break away from your dad, do it, but don't try it with this. But he ultimately decides, nah, fuck that, I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah. They say a whole thing of, like, if you're going to deal with some demons, at least deal with demons that you know about.
Yeah. So, I guess the bookend is pretty interesting where... Because it starts with Sammy stumbling into the church where his dad's doing a service.
Yeah.
And his dad tries to use it as an opportunity to get him to put what's left of the guitar down and renounce music and repent for his sins or whatever. And after seeing everything he goes through, it does make it all that more satisfying when he decides, nah.
And not only that ends up working out for him, because he basically takes Smoke and Stack's car, takes the guitar, drives off to do goodness knows what. And then after that point, the movie jumps to 1992 in Chicago, where Sammy has become a very, very successful and very prolific blues and jazz musician, played by Buddy Guy, who
That's a hell of a name.
I do not believe that's a real name, but the man is an actual very famous blues musician.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, like he actually is a very famous musician. It was very satisfying seeing Sammy get a good ending there.
No, and then the very end is, it turns out Stack's alive, well, undead.
Yeah,
but...
Stack is undead, same as Mary, and
yeah.
they're still, like, rummaging around together and all that.
Yep. And they find Sammy, and apparently, I think the implication is they always knew where he was, but one of the conditions for Smoke sparing Stack was that he had to stay away from Sammy.
Yeah.
But Sammy's now about to die anyway, so... Not, like, immediately, but
no,
soon.
but his time is limited.
Yeah. And Stack makes the offer to turn him into a vampire, and Sammy turns it down, and they're just cool with it, which I like.
God, my anxiety went up at that, because, like, no, don't do this to him. He's had a good life, just let him have this life. And, because that's the whole reason that Sammy gave, was like, I've seen this place enough.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, and that leads into a whole thing of how Sammy looks at Stack and goes, right before shit hit the fan, and, everyone died and whatnot, that was honestly the best day of my life. And he asked, like, Mary and Stack what they said. He was like, no, we agree. Because for Stack in particular, he was like, that was the last time I got to see my brother alive. That was the last time I got to see the sun. That was honestly the last time I actually felt free. So, that was nice. And also the whole thing that I identified with way too much, where you're like, by the way, I have all of your records. I can't, and I think you said something along the lines of, like, I can't do it with, like, this new age stuff. It has to be, like, like, as original as possible.
Yeah. If I have one nitpick with this movie, it's the very end when Sammy's playing for them and implicitly doing one last performance. I feel like with the whole thing established that his music can conjure spirits, I feel like Smoke and Annie should have been there.
That would have been nice.
I guess, to be fair, not using that ability for the vampires makes sense. Mm-hmm. But it's also, like, that would have been a nice close-the-book moment, especially when they're not being antagonistic anymore, because apparently without Remmick's influence, they're not that bad, although God knows what they're doing for blood.
Yeah, as I say, it's like, so how many people have y'all killed over the last 60 years?
Actually, do we know that they need to consume blood?
That's not directly established. I think it's established that the bite is what turns people into vampires, but not that they need blood to keep going.
Yeah, so it could just be, maybe they've just got eternal life, and maybe that was just a compulsion Remmick had. Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Also, I got at least one last thing, which is that if I was handing out awards...
Still doing the movie awards.
Stupidest person in a horror movie would be Pearline during that garlic scene.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was pretty bad.
There's a bit where they think there's a vampire who managed to sneak in, or that one of them has been turned because they find somebody passed out in what looks like blood, but it's actually alcohol.
Yeah.
They threw that poor sap to the vampires because they figured he'd been bit. Goddamn. And he ends up getting eaten by cornbread. Well, bitten by cornbread and then converted.
Yes.
In Sinners, cornbread eats you. But... God damn it, Yakov Smirnov. But... So they decide to make sure none of them are a vampire. They're all going to eat a clove of garlic, and Pearline makes a big stink out of it for not liking the taste of garlic. Which, first of all, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, and second of all, this is not the time to be a bitch.
But I also understand, sticking a whole clove of garlic in your mouth and chomping down is a bit much. But also, again...
This is not the time.
This is not the time. Just prove you're not the vampire. We don't have time to waste with this.
Yeah. And that leads into a whole thing where Slim takes a clove of garlic, and he starts to choke, and everyone's like, oh shit. I think, like, Smoke actually takes out his gun, and then Slim's finally like, oh, nope, it's the alcohol. Oh, give me a second.
That was good. I really like Slim.
One other thing that I do want to... Oh, no, I don't want to give that away, because that is one of the best moments in the movie, even if this is a spoiler section.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's very cathartic.
Fair. You got anything else?
Not anything else that I want to give away.
That's fair. I think I'm good too.
Mm-hmm.
In which case, yeah, no, this is definitely worth seeing.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
I'm probably
Did we say that before we went to the spoiler section?
I don't know. I should think the fact that I called it the best thing I've seen all year would implicitly do that. But explicitly, go see it.
Yes.
It's really good.
It's a good time.
It's also a little much at some points, but I mean, not in any like really overly intense way. I think it's a pretty digestible horror movie, no pun intended.
If you're a prude, this movie is not for you.
Oh yeah, no, definitely not.
Yeah.
Especially not if you're racist.
Yeah.
But anyways, thanks so much for watching, everybody. Listening or watching, whichever. There is a video format.
There is a video format of this show.
There is a video format. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you're that sort of thing, because, yeah, I already went over there. Mm-hmm. We do have a Cinema Synergy episode out on another Ryan Coogler movie, this one being Creed 2015. Make sure to check that out if you feel like it. Because, yeah.
Yes.
No.
Give us the engagement! Give us the engagement!
I spent time on that. I appreciate it.
Yes.
Next week, we got a few different options. I think I might go see, what was it called? The Legend of Ochi. I almost said Life of Ochi. Or Oki? I don't know. But it's got Willem Dafoe in it, and it's an A24, I think, animated movie?
Okay.
So I'm interested in that. Alternatively, there's also Cheech and Chong's last movie.
For real this time.
For real this time. But also, if I hate myself, I might see On Swift Horses. We'll see.
Okay.
I guess we'll see.
Right.
But regardless of what our options are, this has been Under the Bridge with Cody, aka the Scarlet Troll.
And with Greg, aka Greg.
And we'll catch you all next week.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye!